This is BD Daily Tech News Podcast, your daily briefing on tech and innovation. It's 2026, February 27th, and today's theme is AI is getting richer, choosier, and somehow also firing people.
So AI is basically a startup founder now, raises a gigantic round, sets boundaries, and then says we're a lean team while the office snacks disappear.
3 stories. 1. OpenAI reportedly finalizes a $110 billion funding round at a $730 billion valuation. 2. Block cuts about 4,000 employees, nearly half. 3. Anthropic rejects Pentagon requests in a safeguards dispute, and tech workers back them in an open letter.
That's an episode lineup that sounds like, congratulations, you're the future. And then the future asks for your badge on the way out.
Story 1. Multiple reports say OpenAI raised $110 billion, valuing it around $730 billion. The breakdown cited $50 billion from Amazon and $30 billion each from NVIDIA and SoftBank, with more investors expected.
I'm sorry, 110 billion? That's not a round. That's a small weather system. At that point, you're not funded. You're monetarily hydrated.
The simple version of the tech behind it, training and serving frontier AI, is like running a factory where the machines are GPUs, the electricity bill is a second mortgage, and the raw material is data plus talent. Scale is the product.
So it's like opening a restaurant where every stove costs a Ferrari and every dinner service requires a power plant. And the customers are like, can you make my email sound less passive-aggressive?
Why it matters. 1. This reinforces that AI competition is increasingly about compute access, chips, cloud capacity, and long-term supply. 2. It pressures smaller labs and startups. If the frontier is financed like infrastructure, the business model shifts toward partnerships, specialization, or open-source differentiation.
If you're a tiny AI startup, you're not racing a competitor. You're racing a hydroelectric dam with a marketing budget.
Actionable angle for listeners. If you build software, assume AI features will be cheaper for big platforms to bundle, but expensive for you to run. Design for efficiency, smaller models, caching, retrieval, and clear ROI. If you're career-focused, the durable skills are model evaluation, data governance, and cost engineering, because somebody has to make the math work.
Yes, become the person who can look at an AI bill and say, we can cut this by 40% without making the chatbot dumber than a group chat at 2 a.m.
Story 2. Reports say Jack Dorsey's Block is cutting about 4,000 employees, reducing its workforce by nearly half, describing it as a bet on AI changing labor productivity. Another report notes Dorsey later acknowledged overhiring during COVID.
Nothing says we love innovation like firing half the humans and calling it a productivity narrative. That's not a strategy deck. That's a breakup text.
Simple tech version. Companies are using AI like an exoskeleton for knowledge work. Drafting, summarizing, coding assistance, support scripts. It doesn't replace every role, but it can compress headcount by making fewer people cover more surface area, especially in repetitive workflows.
So your job becomes you plus 3 tabs, 2 co-pilots, and 1 spreadsheet that judges you silently. The KPI is how many humans can we fit inside one human?
Why it matters for normal people. If you use fintech products, this kind of cut can show up as slower support, more automation in disputes, and tighter risk controls. For workers, it's a signal that AI adoption is now a budget line item, not a pilot, meaning role scopes will widen and performance expectations will change.
Also, it means every app will try to replace Talk to a Human with Talk to Patty, the headset bot. And Patty will be like, I understand you're upset, while absolutely not understanding anything.
Actionable. Protect your personal finances by expecting more self-serve. Keep receipts, export statements, and set up alerts, because automated systems are fast, but appeals can be slow. Career-wise, pick one workflow in your job and instrument it. Time to complete, error rate, cost. If you can prove you made AI useful without breaking compliance, you're harder to cut.
Be the person who can say, we automated the boring part, kept the human for the scary part, and nobody got sued. That's the superhero origin story in 2026.
Story 3. Reuters and others reported dispute between the Pentagon and Anthropic over safeguards, specifically concerns about military use. Separately, reports say employees at Google and OpenAI supported Anthropic's stance in an open letter, opposing uses like mass domestic surveillance or fully autonomous weaponry.
Nothing like an open letter to say, "Dear government, please don't turn my autocomplete into a Terminator side quest."
Simple tech version. Modern AI systems are general purpose. If you can generate plans, analyze images, and optimize decisions, you can apply that to benign tasks or to surveillance and targeting. Safeguards are the rules, access controls, and monitoring that constrain how a model can be used and what it can output.
So it's like giving someone a sports car. You can drive to work, or you can drive through a mall. The question is, do you install brakes, seatbelts, and a speed limit, or do you just hand over the keys and say, "Good luck"?
Why it matters. First, this will shape procurement. If the government pushes for fewer restrictions, vendors may face pressure to weaken safety controls to win contracts. Second, it sets norms. What counts as acceptable use for frontier models could ripple into enterprise products and even consumer features.
And for regular people, it's the difference between my AI helps me write a cover letter and my AI is quietly part of a system that decides who gets watched. Lightly different vibe.
Actionable. If you're a developer or manager, bake in governance early, logging, red teaming, and explicit use policies. If you're a consumer, watch for transparency, what data is collected, who has access, and what the model is allowed to do. The direction of these disputes often becomes the default settings later.
Default settings are destiny. Nobody reads terms and conditions. If the checkbox is pre-ticked, humanity is like, sure, give the drone my contacts.
Quick recap. OpenAI's reported $110 billion round says the AI race is now a compute and capital marathon. Block's layoffs show AI is being used as a productivity justification and a cost lever. And the Anthropic Pentagon dispute shows the next battlefield is governance. Who gets what capabilities under which constraints?
Today's lesson, AI isn't just software. It's money, power, and HR decisions with a user interface.
If this helped you understand what's actually happening, subscribe for the daily briefing. And comment, which trend will matter more in your life this year? AI mega funding, AI-driven layoffs, or AI safeguards in government contracts?
And if your company says, we're doing an AI productivity initiative, just remember, that sentence can mean a raise or a cardboard box. Stay curious, stay employable, and we'll see you tomorrow.